Hello and good evening. My name is Brian Kinsman. I'm reporting today on my learner growth project. In this case, it is 3 lesson plans for my subject student 2, who is in grade 5, and this we will focus on math content area language for them. I developed these lessons after several weeks of interviews and working with my subject students. These 3 lesson plans were developed for one student in general after we took the baseline measurements and established where we could improve from there. So I designed these 3 lessons around mathematics, operations, and algebraic thinking and its associated content language. The students struggling to meet their proficiency for grade 5, and I think that's due to L2 language proficiency issues, especially after meeting with the student's mother, and she was very distraught over the recent change in math grades. So these are the standards that I used here. But I want to look at the objectives. Our learning objectives identify the basic functions. We're matching associated vocabulary with each function via a cluster web graphic organizer. So we're going to put like with the plus sign in all together, and with the minus sign have left, take away, etc. And also I'd like to incorporate concrete objects into that counting as well. On that note, I'd like to address the way in which I developed these with UDL principles in mind. For an ESL teacher, accommodation is very important, and so I thought I would try to build in some accommodation into this lesson. You can look here via the objectives and activities here. I'll look in lesson 2 here in the center of the screen. This is repurposing one of the Kelpa accommodations. And in this case, I'm giving the students a physical object to interact with and count along with, to for them to help check their own understanding as we read through 2-part word problems. I think when they hear the target language in all, total, altogether, less than, taken away from, they can have an opportunity to feel the physical impact of each of those phrases against their physical tokens. And so I think this will be a good way for some kind of self-check, and I think we'll be able to identify whether or not at this stage the student understands, or if our lessons are valid here. And to wrap up, I would like to show you here at lesson 3 and ways in which I'd like to verify presented information at each given point. So lesson 3 will have a pre-lesson assessment, and I think that these students in particular would love the opportunity to produce a funny math word problem that maybe they'd like to see on their next test. I think that it will give them an opportunity to use this both creatively and how to use the language on their own advantageously. I think if they can write a problem that's advantageous to themselves, which these students are pretty tricky, I think they're going to get quickly onto that. I think this would be a good way for them to express all of these functions and generating their own content in this case. All right. Thank you for listening to my discussion. Have a nice day, and I hope to read more from your learner growth activities. Take care.